What's up? I'm Christiane Cordero, and you're watching the 734 from WCCO. We know most of you are on your way to work, maybe about to head out the door, so let's get you started with today's weather. What a change from yesterday, right? Hitting 34 degrees later this afternoon, but before then, expect some drizzles and some flurries. That's what Riley O'Connor is saying, and then we're dipping back down into 26 and lower later tonight. Riley said that we can expect the teens overnight, so something to keep in mind. All right, now let's talk about this. The Academy Awards won't have a host again this year. The head of ABC announced the decision yesterday, saying last year's hostless show worked out just fine. The 2019 Oscars were the first without a host since 1989, and that, of course, is a big change from most award shows. We want to know your thoughts. Chime in on whether you want a host or not, sure, but also what other changes would you like to see in awards shows? Do you watch award shows like the Oscars? If not, what would make you more interested? Those watching on Facebook, leave a comment right here, and we'll read through a few of those after the news. And there is plenty of it. First, fire crews around the metro area had to deal with frigid conditions while fighting 3 fires. Busy night in Egan. Firefighters are giving credit to smoke alarms for warning people that their house was on fire. This happened just after 12:30 this morning. The chief tells us the fire started in the attached garage, and then they're looking at the car as a possible source. He says the fire jumped to the house and traveled up to the attic and the roof. Both adults got out safely. In Minneapolis last night, this was the fire on Emerson Avenue North at 1.5-story home there. We're told it's a total loss, but no one was hurt. No word yet on what caused that. And then about an hour later, a 2-story duplex caught fire on the 4800 block of Lyndale Avenue North. The fire burned on the 2nd floor, causing the roof to collapse. Crews believe the home was vacant, so no one was hurt, but that too is a total loss. We're waiting to learn more about the name of a Minnesota soldier who died at an Army base in South Carolina. It happened yesterday morning at Fort Jackson in Columbia. Investigators say a 19-year-old member of the Minnesota National Guard was found unresponsive. First responders couldn't save that soldier. Investigators have not yet said how that soldier died. The pastor of a WCCO police officer shot on the job says he's exceeding doctors' expectations, and tonight more prayers will go towards his recovery. Yesterday, prosecutors charged Tyler Janofsky for shooting officer Eric Matson in the head Monday night in WCCO. Other officers fired back, hitting Janofsky. He's expected to recover. Officer Matson was airlifted to North Memorial Hospital in Robbinsdale. He's been in critical but stable condition since he arrived. Matson's church family believes their prayers are working.
He can move all of his right side. He can wiggle his left toes. So they're still in the woods with some of the movement, waiting for some swelling to go down, but very optimistic about the advancements that they've seen in his health and his breathing up to this point.
Officer Matson is also a volunteer firefighter, city council member, and a father of 2. There will be a night of prayer for him at Hope Church in Albert Lea. That's tonight. A GoFundMe has already raised more than $132,000. Really incredible stuff there, that sense of community. If you would like to donate, we have a link up at WCCO.com. President Trump says Iran appears to be standing down. His speech followed the missiles launched on 2 bases housing U.S. troops. There were no American casualties there. And in his address, the president also seemed to step away from further military action less than a week after the U.S. killed Iran's top general. RBG is cancer-free. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg made the announcement during an interview with CNN from her chambers yesterday. The 86-year-old has been treated for cancer twice in the past 13 months. In all, Ginsburg has been treated for cancer 4 times over a 2-decade span. Some optimism for cancer statistics overall. A new report shows cancer deaths in the U.S. fell 2% between 2016 and 2017. The American Cancer Society says improved treatment and a decline in smoking is behind the encouraging trend. But one negative note in the report that shouldn't be overlooked: African American and Native Americans had higher death rates from cancer compared to Caucasian patients. This one applies to all Minnesotans. Are you ready for Real ID? October 1st is the deadline. After that, Minnesotans can't use their standard ID to fly or get into federal buildings. So far, less than 11% of people have made the switch. That number has steadily gone up since September, but it's nowhere near where it should be. About 4.5 million Minnesotans will need to get their Real ID. You can find details on what is needed to make that switch on WCCO.com. As tough as it is to see that Australian wildfires cause so much damage, it is at the very least encouraging seeing so many people wanting to help. Enter Lizzo. She broke from her tour there to help pack meals for fire victims at the food bank in Victoria. Stars have rallied around Australia in the midst of the bushfires. Some, like Elton John, have already pledged to donate $1 million for relief.
Oh, 'cause I keep digging myself down deeper. I won't stop till I get where you are. I keep running.
So catchy. Singer-songwriter Halsey will make a stop in St. Paul during her upcoming Maniac World Tour. She'll perform at the X on Tuesday, June 30th. Pre-sale tickets are open today, and general public sales open up a week from Friday. One thing we've been following all week are all those fun tech ideas from the CES show in Las Vegas, including something that could help save your back in the future. This is the Guardian XO. It allows workers to lift heavy items with ease. Looks pretty intense there, doesn't it? 200 pounds could feel like it's only a 10-pound lift. The idea is to reduce strain or injury for people working high-risk jobs. And how about getting a little help around the house? The Walker robot from UB Tech is designed to be a butler. In the past, robots struggled to manipulate objects, but this one has improved technology that allows it to remove a bottle cap, pour a drink, hand it to you. You know where we're going with this. And then if you want to cuddle with, let's just say, hey, a robot. Try this Love-Ot. It's a thing, apparently. It has artificial intelligence that can recognize your face and will come to you when called. Sensors throughout the body respond to touch with a cooing sound. This little sidekick will be available in the U.S. next year, but it ain't cheap. They're currently sold in pairs, and they cost about $5,000. Cole, save us. Let's get back to today's talker. No host for the Oscars this year. We're not talking about robots. What other changes would you like to see made in award season? We're talking to WCCO's digital guy, Cole. Cole, what are people saying?
We have a lot of people saying that they don't watch the award shows. We have Wendy saying, I don't care about the award shows. We have Charles saying the award shows are overrated. We've got Charles asking, how does it happen? Like, how does a hostless show even work?
They have presenters. They still kind of keep things moving.
Sure.
We're looking for constructive criticism.
But then we have Eric, the web manager and movie aficionado and movie critic, saying, my number one suggestion to the Oscars is to bring back the honorary Lifetime Achievement Awards. My other less likely is for them to combine acting categories into gender-free, best lead performance and best supporting performance. And he'd say more, but we have plenty else to do this morning. So.
Tomorrow, Eric is going to host the 734 here on WCCO.
What would you do with the hostless 734?
I know, right? We're going to have a hostless 734. It's going to be the Love Bot instead. How about that?
But yeah, I don't know. For me, I just know the award shows that get very long. I don't know if
I think time is a big issue for some people, for sure. I like Eric's idea of having the Lifetime Achievement Award. We always like those big, or a lot of people, right, like those big produced stuff that just kind of makes you feel stuff. So, cool. Thanks, Cole. Appreciate it. That's it for now. This is the 734 from WCCO, and most of the Twin Cities are on the go. So go ahead and make us your place for mobile news. We'll be back here tomorrow at 7:34 with a host, and it will be Eric Henderson. But until then, be nice to each other out on the internet.